Oh, no. Hello, everybody. This is Phil Schneider with Why Do We Say That? I'm going to explain the word origin today, handicap, uh, because it occurred to me. Why, you ask, do we do this? Why, you ask, do I do this? Because it's fun. Why do you watch? I don't know. Anyway, this may contain minimal traces of educational material, so be aware. If you're allergic to education stuff, just stop it. If you remember, a few days ago, we covered feisty, where it comes from, those little dogs that are feisty because they pass gas. We covered groggy a few days ago, where a word for a drink or naval drink with alcohol came to mean the actions that happen if you drink too much. Groggy. Today, we're going to cover handicap. Um, why? Well, I got in my car the other day and the handicap sticker fell off. Okay. I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The handicap sticker is my wife has terrible arthritis, so we had one for quite a while now, and it's useful when I'm driving her. I don't park in handicap spots because I don't need it unless she's there. Now, handicap. Handicap is both a noun, a handicap, an impediment, something that stops you from doing something. Let's see if I can bring up my presenter view here. Yeah. And it could also mean to handicap an event, to level the playing field. I mean, two different things. So how did it work this? It originally comes from the phrase a game that was played, I assume, in taverns and in bar rooms in a long time ago, in the 1600s, called hand in cap. Okay, three people would put their hands in a cap. Well, okay, they wouldn't put they would put money in a cap, and you'd have to have two people who wanted to sell something to each other or give something to each other, and you had to have a referee. There would be a referee that would come in, and then let's say John here had a pocket knife, and Larry had a coat, an old coat that he wanted to trade, and they said, well, that's equal value, and no, it's not equal value. So they would get a referee, and all three people would put a small amount of money into a cap. Okay, now, then the referee would we'll look at it and say, well, that knife's worth about $5. That coat to me is worth about $7. So, John, you're going to have to pony up $2, and then y'all can make this trade. Now, so the idea of the game was to have an outside referee come in and make the decision on who need to pay what to make to make it level. Of course, they could decide not to do it, but that was the basic game. That was the concept. Now, from this idea of leveling the playing field, immediately, horse racing latched onto that. You know, racetracks, even all through the ages, have wanted to make money. Now, if you have one horse who's faster, obviously faster than other horses, would you bet on the other horses? No, I wouldn't. So they wouldn't make any money. So what they wanted to do was they wanted all the horses in the race to have an equal chance of winning, or at least be seen as having an equal chance of winning. That way people would bet on all the horses and they'd make more money. Everything would be level. And they used this concept of the game hand in cap to level the field. They would apply, they couldn't make the slow horses any faster, but they could make the fast horses slower. And they had weight. So they would apply whatever amount of weight, 2 pounds or whatever they used. They didn't use kilograms back in the 16th century, 2 pounds or 3 pounds, or whatever, under the saddle of the favorite horse, make him weigh more, slow him down, so he would be equal with the other horses. So the handicap, I guess I should mention now, the concept of a handicap for a disability, like we use it now, that didn't come into effect for hundreds of years. In fact, in 1915, was the first time it was ever used for that, for as applying to something handicap for a person. Before that, it was always an allusion to someone, one way to level that playing field. Now, for example, in sports, in foot races, someone who was obviously faster would start further back, and many ways like that. We use the word handicap in golf. As you know, you ask a golfer what their handicap is. You're asking them how they fall in rankings, if you know words. How close do they come to the average player playing that field? Well, I'm 6 strokes down. You have to give me 6 strokes to make us to play it equal. I think that's what that means. I don't play golf. So it was a very useful word, and it went from the game of handicap to meaning a leveling the playing field. And then later on, it became it was a very useful word. So with all kind of things, and it came to mean a physical limitation, something that is a limitation. This was in 1915 when they started talking about handicapped children. And then from there, it expanded to a handicap. I'm handicapped. I can't hear well. I have a disability. I can't. I do. I'm a disabled veteran, by the way. If y'all want to have a moment of silence for me, yes, I've been disabled. You see, handicapped. So it comes from a game, hand in cap, 400 or 500 years ago, and it's a very useful word. We use it all the time. Thank you. I'm going to stop now. No, I'm not. I'm going to turn off my thing here. Meeting controls. End.